Have you ever wanted to build something important, create something meaningful, or simply succeed entirely on your own terms? Of course you have. But there is a silent, invisible tax that gets collected from you every single day. This tax drains your energy, slows your ability to act, and puts a limit on your potential. What is this tax? It is the immense amount of energy you spend caring what other people think. This isn't a physical tax, it's the ultimate cage. Not the boring 9-to-5 job you might despise, but the mental prison built entirely from your need for external approval. This need holds back CEOs, world-class artists, powerful entrepreneurs, and brilliant students. You could have the mind of a genius, but if you are constantly looking for your reflection in the eyes of others, you will never achieve true independence or peace of mind. To understand this struggle, think of the Stoic Roman emperor, Marcus Aurelius. He was the most powerful man on earth, leading empires and armies. Yet, he focused his entire philosophy on one single thing, achieving internal self-mastery. Why? Because he knew that true freedom doesn't come from conquering physical empires, it comes from conquering your desperate need for validation. This video is your complete blueprint to social immunity. We are going to build a solid, mental firewall that allows you to absorb useful, constructive criticism while easily deflecting all the pointless noise, envy, and judgment from the world. We will dive deep into the surprising roots of this validation addiction and give you the 3 core strategic pillars you need to stop giving away your most valuable asset, your power. Deep Dive, Phase 1, The Roots of Validation Addiction. To truly build immunity, you first have to understand the virus that keeps you chained to external approval. Why do capable, independent men struggle so much with this addiction to caring what others think? It's not a moral weakness, it's actually a deeply wired, historical mechanism. We break this down into 3 core roots that keep you mentally chained. Root number 1, the tribal instinct, the biological lie. The deepest root is the tribal instinct. Think back thousands of years ago. Survival meant belonging to the tribe. If the tribe rejected you and cast you out, you faced a literal death penalty alone in the wilderness. Your brain is still running on this ancient, obsolete program. When you face social disapproval, a nasty comment on the internet, a cold shoulder from a colleague, a lack of likes, your brain flags it as an existential threat. This reaction is a biological function, not a logical one. Your emotional brain is screaming, danger. Exclusion means death. But your conscious, rational mind knows that an angry stranger on the internet cannot actually hurt your future or your purpose. The first step to immunity is recognizing this feeling for what it is, an obsolete biological alarm. It's not true fear, it's just a primal echo. Every time you feel that sting, you must label it as a lie from your ancient brain, not a truth from your reality. Root number 2, the social feedback loop, the digital mirror. Our modern world has taken that ancient survival instinct and weaponized it through the digital age. This is the social feedback loop. We have created an environment where validation is constantly tracked, quantified, and immediately available, through likes, views, followers, and comments. This creates a psychological addiction similar to gambling. This constant tracking turns your life into a never-ending performance. You stop asking the intelligent question, does this idea move me closer to my purpose, and start asking the anxious question, will this get the approval score I need? The moment you post something, your vital energy is instantly diverted, constantly checking the scoreboard, waiting for the surge of dopamine that comes with acceptance. Think of the difference between the lone wolf inventor, Jack Dorsey, who focused entirely on building a foundational product, Twitter. And the influencer who spends 8 hours a day managing his public image. The influencer is optimizing for applause, not impact. He's paying the social tax hourly, sacrificing deep, creative work for shallow, temporary validation. That tax is paid directly in your time, focus, and original thought. Route number 3, the unfinished business, the childhood echo. The final route is often the deepest and most painful, the unfinished business. Sometimes, the intense need for external approval is an echo from your childhood. Maybe you had a critical parent, a demanding teacher, or you felt intense pressure to be perfect just to receive love. This leaves a silent, empty space inside, a deep, nagging need to prove your worth. As an adult, you unconsciously project this powerful, unmet need onto your peers, your bosses, or the general public. You are still waiting for that final, crucial well done that you never received as a child. You are trying to use external, adult achievements like a big title or a successful business to fill an internal, childhood wound. The problem is, the world is a terrible therapist. External approval is a temporary sugar rush, not a lasting cure. The approval always fades, the critics always return, and the original wound remains open and bleeding. You are essentially outsourcing your self-worth to people who don't even know your name. These 3 deep roots: tribal instinct, social feedback, and unfinished business, are what we need to permanently shut down. Now that we fully understand why we care, we move to the strategic phase, building the mental firewall. Deep dive, phase 2, the strategy. Now we transition from the diagnosis of the problem to the solution and the strategy. Building social immunity isn't about running away from everyone, it's about systematically shifting your power center from outside sources to inside yourself. We use 3 strategic pillars to build a permanent mental firewall against the devastating need for external validation. Pillar number 1, internalized metrics, the inner scorecard. Most people live their lives judged by an external scoreboard, salary, job titles, follower counts, or compliments. Your first strategic move is to take that scoreboard inside. You must define your success by rules you control. Stop measuring your worth by how many people liked your project, and start measuring it by, did I execute the plan with integrity? Did I learn something new today? Did I meet my own personal standard of quality? This concept is deeply rooted in Stoicism. The great philosopher Epictetus said, "Control what you can and ignore what you cannot." You cannot control whether someone approves of your new business idea. You can control the quality of your research and the hours you dedicate to building it. When you make this shift and internalize the metrics, your self-worth instantly becomes non-negotiable. For example, if you finish a hard workout, don't seek a compliment from a friend. Seek the internal metric, did I match my personal best? When you write a difficult email, don't wait for the boss's praise. Check the internal metric, was my communication clear, honest, and effective? This small shift moves your power from the fragile external world to your impregnable internal fortress. Pillar number 2, the data filter, processing criticism. The truly independent mind doesn't ignore all feedback, it understands that some critique is necessary for growth. Therefore, the second pillar is the data filter. You must learn to process incoming criticism like a detached scientist, not a vulnerable victim. When criticism comes, and it always will, you must first pause and apply the data filter process. Ask yourself 2 immediate questions. 1. Is this a signal or just noise? Signal is specific, actionable information that helps you build, e.g., your presentation lacked data on market trends. Noise is vague, generalized, emotional attack, e.g., you're too ambitious or I just don't like your style. You only pay the energy tax on signals. All noise is discarded immediately. 2. Does the source matter? Is the criticism coming from someone who has successfully built what you want to build, or from someone who is comfortable sitting comfortably on the sidelines? If the source is weak, the feedback is worthless. A powerful example: when Jeff Bezos launched Amazon, his idea was constantly criticized by established book retailers and financial analysts. He filtered their external feedback, noise. Because their metrics were focused on short-term external profits, while his internal metric was long-term customer value. He built social immunity by respecting only the data that served his own long-term vision. By using the data filter, you eliminate the emotional response. Criticism is no longer a personal attack, it is simply neutral information, and you only act on the information that helps you build a stronger future. Pillar number 3. Active discomfort, the practice of nonconformity. Immunity is never built in comfort, it is built through controlled exposure. The third pillar is active discomfort. To permanently desensitize yourself to the fear of judgment, you must regularly practice nonconformity in small, safe ways. This means consciously doing something small that violates a social norm but does not violate your personal integrity. You could wear a peculiar outfit that stands out. You could try a new skill in public and fail loudly. You could order your coffee in an unusual way. The goal here is not to be a rebel just for the sake of it, but to experience the benign reality of social judgment. When you realize that the world does not collapse, and you are not instantly expelled from the tribe because you wore mismatched socks, you teach your nervous system that the alarm is false. The fear of judgment loses all its power when you prove to yourself that you can survive the social consequence. The turn and implementation. You have the deep theory. You have the strategic pillars. Now, how do you operationalize social immunity? How do you take these strategic concepts and permanently turn them into unbreakable daily habits? The answer lies in the 3 daily habits of the truly self-mastered individual. Habit number 1, the 10-second test, the pause. This is your primary defense mechanism against paying the validation tax. The next time you feel that intense urge, that sudden rush to check likes, to immediately justify a decision, or to defensively lash out at criticism, stop. Take 10 seconds. Just 10. In that brief space, recognize that feeling for what it is, the tribal instinct alarm going off. Ask yourself the immediate, rational question. Am I feeling this because my security is genuinely threatened, or because my ego is slightly bruised? This 10-second pause breaks the instant, obsolete link between disapproval and survival. It allows your rational mind to step in and apply the data filter before your emotional mind can pay the validation tax. The more you pause and question the alarm, the slower that instinct fades, until the paralyzing alarm no longer rings. Habit number 2, the inner scorecard review, morning ritual. This is the non-negotiable morning ritual that permanently solidifies Pillar 1, internalized metrics. Instead of checking the news or social media first thing in the morning, dedicate 2 minutes to defining your standards for the day. Ask yourself, what are the 3 core actions I need to execute today that will make me feel successful, regardless of external results? This is the anti-fragile mindset. If the world praises you tomorrow, great. If the world ignores you, it doesn't matter. Your success has already been secured by meeting your internal contract. This small, daily ritual guarantees that your worth remains non-negotiable and self-managed. Habit number 3, the purposeful fail, the practice ritual. This is the daily practice ritual that hardens pillar 3, active discomfort. To build true immunity, you must seek small, controlled doses of social disapproval. Go against a small social norm today. Order your coffee in an unusual way. Ask a question you know will sound stupid. Wear a shirt that doesn't match the event. The goal is not to be an angry rebel, but to experience the benign reality of social judgment. When you prove that the world does not collapse, and you are not instantly expelled from the tribe because you made a mistake or stood out, you teach your nervous system that the alarm is false. The fear of judgment loses its power, freeing up massive amounts of mental energy for your purpose. These 3 habits, the 10-second test, the inner scorecard review, and the purposeful fail, are the daily training regimen for your permanent mental firewall. These habits are not just mental exercises. They are the daily practice of ultimate freedom. When you successfully build social immunity, what do you gain? You gain time. The hours you previously spent justifying, worrying, and desperately seeking applause are now immediately redirected back into your passion, your focus, and your mastery. You are no longer spending energy on your image, you are spending it on your impact. You gain clarity. The noise of shallow criticism and worthless praise fades, leaving you with the pure, undistorted vision of your own purpose. You stop building things just for the crowd, and you start building things for the future you envision. Remember the wisdom of Marcus Aurelius: the greatest conquest is not over others, but over your own need for approval. Stop paying the validation tax. Stop living in the invisible cage. It is time to step into your full power, unburdened and truly independent. If this video has armed you with a blueprint for social immunity, then it is time to take action and claim your freedom. Hit that like button, subscribe to the Solitude Scroll, and drop a comment below and tell me, which of the 3 core roots of validation, tribal instinct, social feedback loop, or unfinished business, holds you back the most?